Yaron Yadan. For 17 years, I was a full-time Torah scholar and head of a kollel, and later I left the religious path. My area of expertise in the ultra-Orthodox world was halachic rulings. In fact, to this day, I actually specialize as a halakhic authority. And at some point, I began to have doubts about my faith. I grew up in a secular home. And the understanding that life is temporary and fleeting, that was with me from a young age, and it bothered me. And I wanted to find meaning, a purpose for myself. And that's what I did. In fact, I started anything I thought, imagined, or fantasized would give me meaning or purpose. I went, checked, and tried things already at a young age. That means vegetarianism, veganism, meditation, yoga. And at some point, in the midst of my obsessive search for meaning, I randomly met a rabbi from the Tel Aviv rabbinate who gave me the address for some lectures. The meeting was quite interesting, and for 8 months I attended lectures, and eventually I became religious at the Or Sameach Yeshiva. That was in 1978. 1978 was the beginning of the first mass wave of return to religion in Israel. For 17 years, I was part of the Lithuanian ultra-Orthodox world. Politically, I belonged to Degel HaTorah, United Torah Judaism. For 17 years in the ultra-Orthodox world, I was an avrek whose occupation was Torah study. Being an avrek whose occupation is Torah means that you study the Babylonian Talmud all day long. You fulfill the commandment of be fruitful and multiply, and after 10 years, I advanced in the ranks of Torah study. I was appointed to be the head of a kollel. I was a rabbi teaching students, and the doubt in faith began on 2 levels. On the factual level, is this creation, the Jewish religion, a human creation or a divine one? And then I discovered that there are contradictions between reality and the religious text, and when there is a mismatch, the conclusion is that God did not give the Torah because God knows what is happening in reality. And if there is a mistake, it means that humans wrote it. And that's it. I felt that I was truly connecting to the enlightened world. And on the other hand, I have a Haredi wife, children who study in a cheder, and I have a beard and side locks. I'm the head of a kollel. So what am I supposed to do? And I feel that I just don't connect. I simply don't connect. Not just on a rational level. The rational part is clear. Okay, there are mistakes, or it's a human creation, so what? But from a social perspective, I just felt disconnected. But what do? I have children, and it's clear to me that I won't leave my kids there. And I'm not willing, just not willing for my children to stay in that education system, and I'm trying to convince my wife. There were arguments, and I was really afraid she would find out, because she told me, listen, you disrespect the sages. How can you talk about religion like that? But slowly, with patience, I brought the facts, one fact after another. My daughter didn't agree. She didn't agree that I would shave my beard, because in the ultra-Orthodox society, when they want to draw, say, in children's stories or books, you have a picture of a righteous man. So you see someone with a beard and side locks, and there's this kind of glow on his face. And when they want to draw an evil person, they just draw a secular person, they draw you, something like that. And basically, an evil person is without a beard. And suddenly the righteous man comes and takes off his beard. And in terms of symbols, in terms of how the child feels, it's as if your father is about to become evil. It's not easy. It wasn't easy for me either. You suddenly see yourself as just an ordinary person. You pack the whole house into boxes and leave the living room as it is, so that when your friends come over, they'll think everything is normal. You order the moving truck in the middle of the night, load everything up, and drive away. I don't know if I can remember how I felt back then. You're so worried that everything will be okay, that the kids will be okay. You worry about the logistics. You're just constantly worried that everything will be okay, that we'll all get through this all right, that we'll start getting used to the new life, that they'll have a home, that they'll have food, that they'll be happy. The hardest thing to deal with is the financial situation. You're basically a new immigrant without an absorption package. You have no financial assistance and you don't have a profession. On the other hand, you have 7 children used to a high standard of living, which you're not accustomed to as a yeshiva student whose life is Torah and study. And I got to the point where I was delivering newspapers in the morning. I delivered globes in the evening and worked in between. I was even a waiter. It's not easy. I think the journey I went through is the journey that built me. It built me, it gave me, it shaped a clear philosophy for my life. Basically, I fully and happily accept the natural reality and my life, even though I know and understand that they are temporary and fleeting. I accept it, and I'm at peace with it. That is, my emotional maturity is about being at peace with my strengths and weaknesses, and with the strengths and weaknesses that nature has given me. That's maturity, and it's a gift. Although I didn't get it as a gift or for free, I worked for it for 17 years, but it's work that has results, which I can't say that I regret.